So today what we wanted to do is we wanted to, first of all, welcome everybody and then introduce a little bit what the Success Mindset Maps is. Some of you already know it. Some of you are just finding out about it. And then we wanted to talk a little bit about the Coach Faculty Certification Program, which is starting on January 19th. And so it's coming up. And the reason I have these two wonderful guests is that they're both members of our coach faculty. And so they're going to introduce themselves in a minute. Let me hand over to both of you. Maybe let's start with Jehan.
Thank you very much, Mickey. What a pleasure it is to be with you and Pam this evening. I am an NLP trainer and a coach, executive coach and personal development coach. And I found this tool really amazing. Like it added up to my toolbox, new practical, pragmatic ways to help my clients. So yeah, thank you. Pam.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Pam Jacoby. I am an executive coach and also a business strategist. I work primarily in Fortune 500 companies with large organizations and executive leadership. I found this mindset map system and inventory to be really helpful in helping leaders and organizations identify the gaps that they need to really pay attention to and focus on. So it's really a great system to help move the business.
All right, so I wanted to actually kick it off by saying something about, how we started this. And so the way we really started it was that, both Robert Dilts, who is one of the founders, and me, we have been working with organizations and businesses. So we often work with teams, but we often work with individuals. And what we've noticed is that in 99% of the cases, actually, the change comes down to mindset. So the people who are willing to change, who are achieving amazing results, are always the people who have a more flexible growth mindset, a mindset that is more ready to change in relationship to goals that they actually have. And we've been very fascinated to find that, there's a pattern. There's a way to actually spot some very specific patterns of how mindset changes in relationship to goals. So we wanted to build a tool, and this is an assessment and development tool that helps people better understand their mindset and then to make changes, key changes, in order to reach important business goals. So that's how we define it. And the tool is actually intended for coaches who want to work with mindset and help other people better understand and adjust their mindset, for consultants who work with organizations, also for business leaders and entrepreneurs who have a business that they run. And then, it can actually be also very applicable to an HR person who is in charge of talent management or something like that. So we created a tool that is, again, an assessment and also a development tool. It's accessible online. And we created a course, which we call the Coach Faculty Certification Program, which is for coaches and professionals and experts who want to work with the mindset. So the reason we are here today is that, we already have around 25 coaches globally, from Russia to France to Germany to the Netherlands to the UK to the United States and to the Middle East, Jordan. And so we're growing this faculty, and we wanted to share a little bit about this training today. So actually the question that I wanted to open with to Pam is, you've gone through this training. It's a 5-module training. I will introduce, what's it like in a moment, but why don't you share a little bit, what was your experience? What was the value that you got out of this training?
Well, some of the immediate benefits as an NLP master practitioner, I use NLP all the time in my coaching, of course. So there's something about coming to the table with a group of cohorts that oftentimes bring in new knowledge. It's like a refreshing of some of the things that I've used in getting that benefit from the cohorts. There's also the part about learning new materials and how that picture of how a person can really have like a helicopter view, if you will, of their business. And I find that oftentimes is the aha moment for many business owners, because they don't look at their businesses as a whole from a view of a map. So I've also really met people from all over the world, and these days global focus is so important. And I've now developed relationships with people like Jehan and other people that are up from Greece and the UK, and they have brought in Morocco. They've brought in that global perspective from me and what they're doing in their own practices.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I want to open the same question to Jehan. What was the value that you saw or you got out of this program?
Well, I totally agree with Pam on what she said about expanding our tools on top of the NLP with a methodology that really resonates to grow one's business and to take it into consideration holistically, which is amazing. I am my first VIP client, and my first thing was like, how can I apply this genius tool into what I am doing? And now I find myself thinking into many directions without feeling like overwhelmed like I did before, or different projects, and taking it easy and being chilled. So I think it is amazing for myself in my own business and how I think strategically about it, and also very inspiring for my clients whom I coach, whether they are using it as entrepreneurs or young people who would love to aspire to create something new, and they would love to have more direction or more enlightenment. It also reshaped how I thought about many definitions in business. Like, I changed my mind on how I think about partnership, and now it's more about synergies and resonance and beautiful alignment of a team that completes each other. So it's been very enlightening and on so many levels, whether for my clients or myself, on how I think on business and a contribution, making a meaningful contribution to the world, where we use our energies on what really matters. So yeah, thank you. And on top of that, of course, meeting all the amazing people from all over the world that also gave specs of perspectives from different minds on different locations all around. That was also great.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to sort of ponder on this a little bit, because what I'm hearing from both of you, it's that, there's an aspect which is almost like a self-coaching aspect, because each of you are an entrepreneur, you're running your own business. And actually it's a very important question, what is the right mindset for you to grow your business? And certainly it is one of our intentions that this tool is helpful with that, and that also the training, you're working on yourself, you're working on your business as you kind of go through this experience, and you grow as a professional and as a business owner. And then, there's this other aspect that you're highlighting here, which is a community of people. And I think, one of the most, Robert and I, we are teaching the course, but certainly I have learned a lot from all of you, because I think, the value that everybody brings in, the cases that you bring in, the questions that you bring in, the connections that we create through the course, I think it's a very important element of it as well. And then, clearly the third aspect, which is very, very important, is that how do you apply that with actual clients? So one of the things that we do throughout the course is, at some point when we think you're there, then you go out and you take the tool and you start working with sort of friendly customers, some first adopters, and you really try the tool, and then you can come back and we talk about it. And we also do a lot of demos. So I think that's a key element of the training where, you know, Robert and I, sometimes together, sometimes on our own, we would like work with one of you and sort of help you move along your path towards a certain kind of goal. So if you were to kind of say a little bit, you know, why would you recommend this to somebody? And I don't know who is going to watch this, but we should probably make the assumption that, you know, they could either be business owners and business leaders, or they could be coaches or organizational development consultants working with clients, or they could also be perhaps somebody who works in HR and, you know, is supposed to coach, or an internal coach. So what would be, why would you recommend this to other people? What will they get if they come?
Well, Mickey, I have to say, just following on what you just said about the experience of it and how we can apply it to ourselves, and Jehan, you brought up that point. There's something about causing me, you can't give away something you haven't experienced yourself. So this is learning something that you can help your clients with, but it's also a great way to think about yourself. And it's caused me to really focus on what is my vision, what's my passion, what's my vision, what's my mission, which is different than the vision, and also the ambition side of things. And how does that really fit together holistically? So it's really helped my practice and my profession in really thinking about more of, am I staying on with my passion and my vision and my mission? When does my ambition show up, and how is that benefiting me? So there's been a lot of things that I've just put into my own practice that I will say has helped my practice grow.
Thank you. And I think, you know, that's just kind of heartwarming to say, because, you know, predominantly we're saying, you know, this is, for example, for a coach or for a leader who wants to make some changes and wants to go to the next level. So we are saying, unlock your mindset and level up. But it's so good to hear that, you know, by the way, we practice on ourselves and we can go to the next level through this. So that's kind of an added benefit, which we are really promising, and it's good to hear that it's coming through to you. Yeah.
Well, and honestly, I can't get there on my own. That's the benefit of having cohorts.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And you know, sometimes it's so difficult for a coach because, you know, you're always in the position to have to know, or at least that's what customers assume at some point, that you're the one who knows, and then they sort of discover that no, it's a discovery together, and you are finding out and he's finding out, and your strengths is, and that's where, you know, kind of the tools also come into the picture, because in addition to your strength of your personal genius that you should bring into the coaching, you can also bring in a tool now that is very tangible. Like, this is your mindset now, this is your goal, and this is the ideal mindset, this is the gap, how do we close it? Here are some tools. As you mentioned, you know, there are 49 tools that are actually built into this system. So yeah, thank you. Over to Jehan for a moment.
Thank you, Pam and Mickey. And I would add up from another angle on what Pam said, which I completely agree with and resonate with fully from my place. That the beauty of the mindset maps is that it took the core essence and intention of NLP, which is modeling excellence, and it is built on modeling entrepreneurs, business people, and successful people in the world. And when I say successful, I mean they achieved what they intended and what they set themselves on a mission to accomplish, which is a hero's journey. So these people went through so many obstacles on their journeys. They also were intelligent enough to identify the resources around them. And they had a certain mindset that helped them get to where they got. People like Steve Jobs, people like Richard Branson, and so many other amazing minds out there who achieved excellence. So it's a beautiful to find a tool which compares to the mindsets of these people and inspires with their stories in a way which says, if they can, I can. It's only if I learn how do they think. And then it is taken into a pragmatic way where we have the old sets of tools which are for the mindset from a meta level, a big picture, and then the macro and their beliefs and their values, and then to the level of micro of their habits and their daily practices and how to get there. So it is so holistic, and it takes into consideration the whole thing, and inspiring with those models of excellence who made it. So it's very inspiring and beautiful, pragmatic, and takes personal development training, whether in NLP or in leadership, to its next level, to be pragmatic, where one can really take themselves and their businesses and their clients to a next level. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's a really important point. And then, I thought that maybe this is a good time that I could share just for a moment, what's it? Actually, yeah, I don't have the right dates on this. So there has to be something, one of my trainers always told me that when a mistake happens, then it's a reminder from God that he's still out there. So he's certainly here, because the date is not January 7th and 8th, but the 19th and the 20th, because we kind of shifted the dates forward. But what I wanted to show here is that, the first module is looking at the 5 entrepreneurial goals, what we call, and those are goals around more innovation and resilience, building financial robustness, scaling your business, finding more satisfaction in your work, and making a meaningful contribution through your work. So those are 5 key goals. And so the first module is really looking at what are the mindset that support each of those goals. And that's where this idea that Jehan just mentioned comes in, that we have these archetypal figures that somehow represent a certain type of mindset. And some of these people, as we know, we can criticize them for certain actions in their lives, but we also know that they have achieved something very, very remarkable. And we are focusing on that part, the mindset that has allowed them to achieve the success that they have had. And so, we have these connections, and it's based on actually real research and also modeling work that we've done. Then in the second module, we are looking at what we call the coaching process. So there's a MindsetMaps coaching process, which is 6 steps, and we work through that, and we start understanding, okay, so how do you use this tool with your clients if you are a coach or a consultant, or how do you use it with your people if you are a leader, right? And then we kind of connect to the module 3, which is introducing some theoretical base, scientific base to all of this, and it's called success factor modeling. And in success factor modeling, which is created by Robert, and it's an internationally recognized and well-researched methodology, there's something which we call the success circle, or circle of success. And so we kind of show what is the relationship between that and the mindset map. And then we jump into those 49 tools that both Jehan and Pam mentioned here, that there are some NLP-based tools, and the coaches, kind of get access to all 49 tools. As a user, you get pointed to 1 or 2 that are relevant for your goal to help you to adjust. But as a coach, you will work with all 49. And then we do some coaching practice and supervision. And we are also asking people to bring, so practice some coaching between the sessions, and then provide some notes. So there is an element of, what some people would call a certification or examination, but we like to call it, it's the ointment. it's more like just taking the tool, practicing it, and then providing some evidence that you're able to use it. So it's quite a journey, quite a packed journey. one of the feedback that we've had from both of you, but and also from a lot of people, is that we are packing almost like too much into the 5 modules, because we are so much there to want to give it to you. And you know, this second coach faculty will have the benefit. The first coach faculty was kind of happening last year, and you know, the system has evolved since then, so we'll be able to do more things in the system. You know, there's a whole backend for coaches and consultants where they can see the results of their clients. So there's additional stuff that has sort of come in since then, and so we'll be able to provide that as well. Okay, so I'm just checking, you know, how we're doing time-wise, and trying to see if I can see some questions. But in the meantime, let me just ask you a question. So what was, say, one thing that you have learned about, you know, mindset work that was not really on your horizon before you joined this course? And, you know, maybe I could ask both of you. So what is something that you learned about changing mindset or mindset related coaching work that was not really on your horizon, and you were like, that's something new that I learned here? And I don't know if any one of you wants to start that.
Well, I found it really fascinating to utilize, and how utilizing generative change and being able to feel inspired that the information which we act upon and take decisions upon are usually cognitive, and that is not enough as a form of intelligence, because there I learned more about the other forms of intelligence. One which still fascinates me is that of the collective intelligence, and then the fields intelligence, and the somatic intelligence, which is the physical in the body. The body has its own intelligence, and using these multiple intelligences to be inspired to find new solutions, because every obstacle is actually a solution that is covered. So it helps uncover this, what seems to be an obstacle, and be able to connect with a new possibility, with a new solution. And this is where the beauty of this slight mindset shift that could happen whilst contemplating the project or the business in a coach state, what we learned together as a coach state, which is how to be in this ultimate learning, curious state to discover what else can be created here. I still find this so fascinating. So that's from my side on something that was like a wow for me.
Yeah, that's so. By the way, just for those of you who are trying to kind of picture this, you know, obviously here, this training is not supposed to teach you how to coach. Basically, the expectation or the understanding is that you already have a basis of, you know, how to coach. What we are teaching here is how to use the MindsetMaps tool in coaching. But having said that, it's also true that as we do the demos, we are bringing in everything we have with Robert, and you know, we are trying to bring everybody's attention that it's a body mind system, and that there are actually subtle ways of bringing in some of these tools like somatic intelligence, collective intelligence, gestures, movements in a very subtle, digestible way into the business world, perhaps. And, you know, I myself, you know, having, for example, coached people at Microsoft at some point, you know, there was this lady who had a real problem with public speaking, and I was helping her, and we looked at, you know, the mindset maps and all that. But eventually what allowed her to break through is to kind of change the somatic position she was in as she was presenting to other people. And I initially asked her, sitting in her chair, to try to show me what is the position from which she's speaking, and then worked with her to shift that, and it had a profound effect. So you can pick up some of these tools and some of these practices from the training, as Jehan mentioned. Yeah. So over to Pam. What was one thing that sort of was very interesting for you, or a new thing for you?
Well, from a productivity standpoint,
yeah,
many of the executives that I work with don't have volumes of time to explore things. And it's one of the reasons why they never seem to get to it. And so this is a tool that will provide them with answers they've created for themselves. So it's almost like a fast forward of well-formed outcomes, and going through that exploration mode of, you can have an initial exploration, but then this fast forwards to all these different areas that you'd want to look at and concentrate on. And it provides them with something that they've answered. It's come from their thinking. And so it's a quick overview of areas where they hadn't really thought about before. And then as a coach, I'm there to guide them on what they can do and navigate them through their own outcomes and their own journey.
Yeah, so that's a really good summary, and I think it also takes me to the summary point here. Just looking at our time. So again, in summary, we've got a personal development, a mindset development and assessment tool, right? That helps people to better understand their own mindset and make key adjustments according to very important business or even life goals that they have in any given moment. Then we've got also a coach, international coach faculty, and a vision of building a community of coaches and consultants and leaders and HR practitioners globally who use the mindset assessment tool. And for the first time, instead of trying to refer to something that's very mysterious or not non-tangible, we've got a way of bringing the conversation with the coaches to the right place, and finding a language, seeing maps, seeing visuals that starts that work, as Pam was saying, like here is where we are now, here is where we're going to go, and here's the gap we're closing, and by the way, here are some tools to get there. So we also have these 50 tools that are built into the assessment. And so if you join the training, you're going to be learning to use that tool. You're going to be connecting to wonderful professionals like Pam and Jehan here. And, you're going to be a member of a community. And we really our vision is to build this community globally and have the tool available in multiple languages and really bring it to organizations and bring it to individuals as well alike. So if you want to be part of this, just wanted to share the address. So it's mindsetmapsinternational.com/events. I'm going to put that up somewhere where you can see it, but here it is now. And look around on mindsetmapinternational.com. You can see the coach faculty there, and you can see more information about what's available. And I'm very excited to be here today with these two wonderful people, and I hope that we can build this together and we can make this vision true. So thanks again for being here, and thanks Pam and Jehan. Anything you want to send as a final message from your side?
Well, I find it like a beautiful opportunity also to say that we as coaches and consultants have beautiful visions around this, where we can also impact social change and organizational change on top of personal. It is the era and time of creating societies that make a difference and developing societies as well. So these are my wishes and visions for my type of work, and what I wish others to be considering as well as they consider MindsetMaps training.
Thank you, Jehan.
And I would say that when you can help people to identify the ingredients that they need to add into their recipe of success, there's many, many benefits to that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again for being here. And, reach out to me on Facebook. You can reach out to me on email, office@mindsetmaps.com. And if you want to look at the training, it's www.mindsetmapsinternational.com/events. Thanks again. It's been a pleasure to have everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.